Hey everybody, clearing. All right, we are going to get into some blood and guts for Halloween. So this is my Halloween colors, but yeah, we're going to actually look at the divine masculines, and I'm just going to ask a couple tough questions. Do they feel emotionally bad? Do they feel guilty, shameful? Do they feel emotional pain regarding the way this journey has played out? So thank you, Divine Creator. What can we see for the divine masculines in the collective that joins me here? What do the masculines feel about the past? Do they feel like they have been experiencing emotional accountability? Do they feel like they are experiencing any kind of suffering? What has it been like for them, the way they have conducted themselves in this connection from first person? What do they consciously feel? Is there anything hidden from them about the way that they are interpreting the scenario? What is the backstory? What would they say to their feminine about these energies? And what is the advice for the divine feminines that will see this information for how to integrate it on their part of the journey? All right, so here we go. Conscious mind about the way they've handled this connection. This one wanted to come out. Leap of faith. So this is uncharted territory for them. They've never met anyone like you. They've never had a dynamic that had these sorts of, I heard exposure, like they can't hide anything from you. The mask I put on for the world slipped. So their protection methods, remember, this is not here to call these masculines out. This is here to bring some awareness to what is going on for them. So you represent something entirely different to them, and so they have not been, in mastery fully. We can only do so much on our own, and then it comes to the proving ground with another. Okay, so what is it, masculines? Have you felt badly about the way that you've handled this connection with your feminine? We are getting, it's sinking in. This is my card of integration. In the inverse like this, it is being seen in that kind of way. This card looks a little bit remorseful. It's in the neutral though, so they're on the fence. It takes two, I just heard. So when we're asking them, do they feel badly about how that they have navigated this, we are seeing a card of slow movement and methodical integration. And so this could explain why at times they haven't jumped in with 2 feet, right? Even though this is the Fool energy, we've got this hesitancy and taking it super slow and being sure, letting things sink in. So the first message I'm getting here is every time there's this slightest wobble, they take a step back. They go quiet, they integrate, they process on their own. I hope you do too, I just heard. And death, transformation. So really what I'm seeing here is they are fully aware. This person is fully aware that they have had fear in relationships in the past because they haven't been balanced or healthy, because the relationships haven't been, they've had trauma, they've needed healing, and they approached this connection with those residual filters. So do they feel guilt, shame? It's like they're pulling up their big masculine pants here and seeing it from a more productive way when we ask that specific question. Yes, they see how that could be taken, interpreted. Their actions could be interpreted as something needing to feel that way, but I am getting that they are trying to learn from it and it's transforming their lives. It's schooling me, I heard. All right, let's see What has been off of their radar regarding this energy? Even from a divine perspective, what, if anything, do the masculines not see fully about this? How it's going to translate to the long term? That they totally changed life path and timeline when they manifested coming into meeting you. You manifested them, they manifested you. It diverted. I'm seeing like a whole river system being diverted from one path to another because of the way this connection has been shaping them. Okay, let's see what this is going to be a little bit of a stretch for my mental gymnastics, but what is the backstory with this? Intimacy. Whoa. Where are 3 places you've thought about having X other than bed? Okay, so in the past, they were really in an experimental stage. They were connecting their intimacy with their experience of being physically intimate or the desire to. So when they met you, they were in an experimental phase, or they were curious. If they were not acting out or acting in that way, they were thinking about things. I heard porn addiction. There's a lot of things this could entail. I'm also hearing or seeing that meme in my mind's eye that says, I want the toxic ex with healed relationship. There's something about being in between worlds. So these masculines really didn't think they could find somebody that they could have a long-term connection with that also included this level of chemistry, is what I'm really getting there. And so they didn't expect to find you. So for situationships, I'm getting that there were passionate beginnings for a lot in this community, where there was a passionate kickoff, but it wasn't on a foundation. Or this person saw you, divine feminines, as further ahead with holding your own sexual energy in a righteous way, and they were not ready to settle down like that. They weren't able to put you in both boxes, the hot and fiery and the, let's say, the virginal sort of divine. They couldn't see how you could be both in some way. So yeah, that's really, really interesting, because the love here has been alchemizing these energies. What would they say to you about this? I'm too afraid to talk. I'm just getting that they're rapidly learning these things about how they've grown, how they have been changing so fast on this journey, that the moment that they want to communicate, they have a new epiphany, they have a new kind of breakthrough, and it's like, oh, dang, glad I didn't say anything, because now I see it this way. It's like, also I'm getting the spooky action at a distance. So just when your counterpart comes to an awareness that they want to share or that they feel is worthy, you do something. I'm hearing social media. If they can keep tabs on you, even if you're not in communication, and somehow, even energetically, they feel a shift. But I'm feeling for the majority here, this is something that they get information through friends, something they see online, that you basically embody the thing that they come to so synchronistically that they're like, oh, I've got to even go beyond that now. And so they're too afraid to talk, because every time they come to something, look who has also emulated that new awareness, and they're like, that's what I'm getting here. So what is the advice for the feminines who are resonating with this so far? Give it time for this new beginning to come in. Okay, rest assured there does come a day. So the divine just said, rest assured there does come a day where that growth syncs up, and it's not going to feel like their attempt to come forward is going to fall short. When you both come into mastery, the feminine comes into receptivity and the masculine comes into offer. All right, so let's see. So that was, do they feel suffering about it? Okay, do they feel like they could have done things differently? Do these masculines feel like they could have done things differently on this journey? You don't know what you don't know, and one step at a time. So this journey, because of the amount of time, these fell right on this waiting energy. Now, I want to make a distinction. This is not about being in waiting energy and holding your life back and sort of twiddling your thumbs. And I heard crocheting 20 scarves, divine feminines. I'm not calling down crocheting, by the way, but it's that kind of energy where just know that you're focused on preparation for sacred union by establishing the foundation in your life, getting your finances in order, taking care of business on your side. While you're doing that, it's blessing you, but these masculines are also seeing how sacred that has been, because this amount of time where you're not out running the streets and finding a fill-in, these masculines are seeing both of you gaining traction with the things that you both need to do and see and be aware of. And so they're ultimately seeing the wisdom in both of you following divine timing. It's interesting because we're getting a lot of both of you messages. Like, they are very aware of the stride for stride, even though they are maybe a little frustrated with this inability to communicate from the position that they would like to create a safe container here. They are seeing the benefit of the things that have played out. Okay, so let's see what the backstory is here. How is this happening for these masculines? How are they? Okay, we got quite a few here. So it fell on the Ten of Pentacles, this shift in direction. So the past, what's something I've done or said recently that made you fall in love with me all over again? Okay, so they're seeing that in these times of spaciousness, the love deepens because the perspective can be seen accurately instead of those knee-jerk reactions or those initial interpretations to things that, you know, these journeys are no joke. They bring to surface things that in other connections, or maybe not at all ever, we don't deal with because they're not on that deep level, that core level, that transparency. And so the good sinks in, right? The blessings in disguise sometimes, but also the absence makes the heart grow fonder. And so, yeah, they know that they get this time to reminisce objectively about the things that are deeper than the chemistry, about the things that are more foundational than just a temporary thing. Okay, and intimacy. What foreplay do we never do that you'd want to try? So they're also wondering how to come back in, warm you up, what it would be like. And you know, one of the most ultimate foreplays that I'm getting in this energy is, you know, full-on commitment, being all in, wanting it with, I mean, that is the dynamite foreplay, when two people mutually want the connection. And so you don't get that mutuality if you don't get this near and far objective view. If you have something too easily, it becomes your possession. If you can't just make something yours and it comply and then it's putty in your hands in that shadow aspect way, it's not appreciated. It becomes an extension of your ego, of your control. And so because this hasn't been coming in that way, and it's required time and objectivity and letting go of expectations and being in non-attachment and coming into righteousness, because of that, there's this deeper level of intimacy coming in about what is lasting connection, what is chemistry in that fire way that sustains through a lifetime. This is what they are appreciating when they give this message of time revealing what they didn't know prior and what you didn't know. And then we're also getting about you. What does commitment mean to you? So they're very much thinking about, sustaining the spark, the chemistry for the long term, and why you love them. So, this is beautiful energy. Beautiful, beautiful, beautiful. What would they say to you? So if you thought nothing was going on, wow, take a look at these messages, right, feminines? This is under the surface. They're too afraid to talk to you. They don't want to get it wrong. But what would they say to you about this energy? You already know. They don't know if you actually do know, because we are pulling here on what they could have done differently. So you win some, you lose some. Like, they know they could have had other opportunities to do things better. It's like, you send the text or you say something and you're like, oh, after the fact, you're like, oh, I could have said this. Oh, this would have been wittier or smarter or more authentic. And so there is that little edge, that risk in here that they don't know for sure, until it's time. I just want space, and my life started when I met you. So this is that space. They're starting to appreciate the ebb and flow, the near and far here, in a much more supportive way. Now, that is required before these connections come in, because that is essential within sacred union, to be able to have that space without question, without doubt, without insecurity, right? Because if we don't learn how to be good on our own before we go into relationship, it becomes an insecure attachment when somebody wants to focus on a work project, or somebody wants to go on a trip, or somebody wants to work out of town. Those things cause skepticism and insecurity if people don't have trust, if these patterns and this integrity, the character isn't revealed over time prior. There's always that question mark about it. And so these masculines are conscious of wanting space, and they are conscious of the effect that actual trust and sovereignty are bringing in this dynamic. This is uncharted. This is like nothing they've seen before. This is showing them how it is possible to trust somebody at a distance, not need to be micromanaging or hyper vigilant in a relationship in case somebody steps out. This is really powerful energy. This is the kind of energy we're seeing. What does commitment mean to you? This is an essential, mature, very deliberate contemplation these masculines are having right now about actual commitment and what that requires, and how that spaciousness is not lost, it's retained within relationships. So this connection, the way that this has come in and out, is actually renewing these masculines' hope for balance within sacred union, because they haven't ever had a connection that hasn't been enmeshed and really, really controlling about time usage, and I heard spending, and what people can do or not do if they love each other. There's this sort of a thing coming to the forefront. These masculines, they don't already know where you stand on this. I'm guessing that because this is in the energy for the masculines, it's in the energy for you feminines as well. And so, yeah, feel into it here. Okay, let's have a look at what the advice would be for the feminines regarding this message. Ace of Cups, unconditional love. So there's love in all of it, I just heard. If you are not able to see your connection through this unconditionally loving lens that has come out in today's reading, you might not be in a divine connection. You might not be in a connection that is resonating or on this frequency. So learn to read the room. If it's not your connection and you're around here, and this resonates with something you'd rather have than the connection that you're in, you're not in the wrong place. If this absolutely isn't your connection, may your 5D be soaking this up, because this is talking about safety in intimacy and sacred sexuality. Okay, so one last question here. What are these masculines wanting in the near future? What would they like to experience in this connection in the near future? Okay, we got a whole bunch that just came out. The Magician. Oh, there's that Ace of Pentacles, this offer that is coming in. So feminines, there is the divine feminine in the inverse with the offer in the inverse. So we're still coming up to the finish line here. They want to manifest it all with you, but there's still something about you coming into balance with finances, living situation, the material realm, root chakra. I just heard that darn Saturn again doesn't go direct until the end of November. So feminines, this is, not a joke either. You must focus on your own well-being, your own happiness, your own finances, your own children or eggs, this protection, integrating your own inner masculine, taking care of yourself, coming into your own that way. And it's not a test, a punishment that if you don't do it properly, you're not coming into union. It's not like that. You have a grace period to fully come into mastery with all your own comings and goings, your own preferences, your finances, to have that healthy root chakra relationship with your living, your physical reality. And so this is in the energy as a catapult for this period of time, and it's really connected with Saturn being in retrograde. Your masculines are leaning towards your connection. They're also looking to their past right now with all their ducks getting in a row. And, they know that you are working on those things. When I put this down on my table, it actually looks like this as well. So they're looking, over their shoulder. They're keeping tabs on you and where you're at with this. So they know where you're at in your life, and they're like, yep, the winds are changing here. So they can feel it. What is the backstory with why these masculines are so on it when it comes to knowing where the feminine is with their financial sovereignty? So if you're in other connections, this can also mean that they don't want to blur the lines with that. What did we get? The past. What do you feel is the most romantic thing I've ever done for you? These masculines are saying the most romantic thing I've ever done for you is give you the space you need to heal. You've got all the time you need, babe. I love you. Do you know how much I love you? Everything I do it for you, especially give you the space to heal and come into this on your own. Wow. Okay, what would they say to the feminines about this? Don't reach out. This is the Ace of Pentacles, though. It's in the inverse. Just keep focusing on this becoming. You couldn't get more clear here that these masculines are consciously giving you the space to balance yourself out, actually, not just get to that finish line and then, come in without you integrating it. So they know that something you're dealing with in the physical will support you greater, that you come through it, and then you get that period of integration after having come through it so that it can be integrated into your bones. When we are going from one thing to the next, sometimes we're so eager to fill that gap once we get through something that we don't actually take that time to renew, to recalibrate, to just integrate that so deeply that we don't need to keep going from one thing to the next. That's what I'm getting here. These masculines are just, holding the safe container for you feminines in some way. It's going to resonate differently for everyone, but they know what they're doing here, feminines. If this is your reading, they know what they are doing, you lovely masculines, and it is up to the feminines to receive it as such. anything your masculine tells you about what they're doing this way, you may not believe it, and you may glom onto it in an inappropriate way. These masculines are just doing it. They're seeing the results, even if you're unaware of this, is what I'm getting. So take time with your bad self. Meditate on this, feminines, and ask God, could this be my situation? Could this actually be playing out with how my masculine is navigating this? But what is the advice for the feminines that their masculines are doing this? End your burden, rest, let it sink in. The Emperor, your masculine is backing all of this spaciousness that you have in the connection. It's not them taking away from you. It's not them being scarce. It's them providing you this God-given grace through them, having this tenacity, composure, containment, strategy. It's not to trick you. It's to bring you into your soft feminine era fully. Oh my goodness. All right. I love that one. If you have not liked this video or subscribed yet, what are you doing? Please do that. This, if you've made it this far and you haven't subscribed, much love. Bye for now.